Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to trace the development of a really powerful literary idea, the absurd hero, as it takes shape across the first three novels of the great American writer William Styron. Okay, let's dive right in with a quote from Styron himself, because this gets to the very heart of the problem for any modern writer. You see, he's pointing out this fundamental tension. On one side, you have the timeless, universal stuff of life, but on the other, you have what he calls these peculiar new horrors. So how do you even begin to make art that speaks to both? How do you find meaning in a world that feels both ancient and terrifyingly new at the same time? And here's how that breaks down. In one column, you've got the raw material of basically all great literature forever. But in the other column, you have the very specific anxieties of the 20th century, the tangled inner lives that Freud brought to light, the sheer existential dread of the atomic age. For Styron, all this new knowledge just made the artist's job so much harder. He had to find a meaningful response. So our journey starts with his epic first novel, Lie Down in Darkness, which throws us right into the deep end, a world of pure chaos, a world that honestly seems to have no room for heroes at all. Yeah, this book, it does not pull any punches. It offers zero comfort. It's just this raw, unflinching look at a family, the Loftuses, as they completely fall apart. It's like they're just drowning in a world that feels loveless, pointless, and totally absurd. And this is Styron's starting line, and it is a bleak one. The family's tragic daughter, Peyton, she really embodies this whole struggle. And what's so fascinating here is the image this brings up. Faced with all the irrational chaos inside her own head and in her family, Peyton's escape fantasy is a machine. She dreams of the perfect, mechanical, ticking order of a clock. It's this desperate and ultimately totally hopeless search for a peace she can never, ever find. And that sense of futility, well, that's pretty much the main theme here. You know, these characters, they're just trapped. They can't connect with each other, they can't figure out who they are. And even the new science of psychoanalysis, well, it can describe their pain, but it offers them no real way out. Peyton's search for herself, for just one reason to live, ends in the ultimate act of despair. So, here's the big takeaway from this first book. Styron's initial attempt to face down this absurd world, it ends in a total void. There's no hero to be found, not yet, just victims, completely swallowed by the sense of meaninglessness. This is ground zero. This is the baseline from which his idea of a hero is going to have to crawl its way out. Okay, so let's move on to his second book, The Long March, because this is where we see a huge shift. For the first time, we meet a character who actually decides to fight back. Right away, you can feel the shift. The whole setting changes dramatically. We go from the messy, internal chaos of a family to the external, senseless authority of the military. It's a world that runs on arbitrary power, and it's the perfect backdrop for a new kind of hero to step onto the stage. Now, to really get what's going on with the main character, Captain Mannix, we have to talk about this key philosophical idea, the Camusian rebel, which comes from the work of Albert Camus. This is really the first step towards Styron's absurd hero. So what is it? A Camusian rebel is someone who, when they're pushed up against an absurd and oppressive reality, simply says no. It's not about winning, not at all. It's all about the act of defiance itself. It's about affirming your own humanity by just refusing to be broken. And wow, this quote just nails the whole idea of Mannix's rebellion. I mean, he knows it's hopeless. He gets that in the grand scheme of things, his one-man stand might even look absurd. But that's the whole point. He does it anyway. It's this pure individual act of will. It's rebellion just for the sake of rebellion. A powerful no to a world that doesn't make any sense. And that brings us to Styron's incredible third novel. This is where that idea of the hopeless rebel finally gets transformed into a fully realized, though man is he deeply flawed, absurd hero. Okay, this is really cool. Just look at the titles themselves and where they come from. Lie Down in Darkness, that comes from this old text all about death and burial. It's a title that's just dripping with despair. But then, Set This House on Fire, that's from a John Donne sermon about being saved through fire. So this isn't just some clever literary nod, right? It's a huge signpost that shows a massive philosophical shift in Styron's thinking, from despair to the possibility of purification and a new beginning. And let me tell you, our new protagonist, Cass Kinsolving, he is definitely in need of some of that fire. He starts out at an even lower place than anyone in the first book. He's not just a victim of the absurd, he is actively running towards it, craving what he calls a long, long spell of darkness. But here's the game changer. For the first time in one of Styron's books, a character is actually shown a way out. His friend Luigi hits him with this powerful new idea, a core existential truth. The idea is, look, in a world that might not have any built-in meaning, the one real sin is to destroy yourself. The one absolute good is to choose life, to respect that life force inside you. So after this incredibly violent and tragic chain of events, Cass, he finally gets it. He has this massive breakthrough. He realizes that hell isn't some fiery pit you get sent to. No, hell is right inside you. It's when you shut down, when you refuse to connect, when you can't give anything of yourself to another person. That is the ultimate rejection of life. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together now and really look at the full arc of Styron's hero across these first 3 books. This table, it just lays it all out so perfectly. You can literally see the evolution. We start with Peyton Loftus, who just surrenders to the chaos and finds nothing but despair. Then we get Captain Mannix, who screams that defiant no, which is a kind of hopeless but totally necessary rebellion. And finally, we arrive at Cass Kinsolving, and he takes the final crucial step. He actively chooses life, and in making that choice, he forges his own meaning. And that really brings us to the big question that Styron seems to be wrestling with, the one he leaves with us. In a world full of these new horrors, what does it actually mean to rebel? And his answer, which he builds up piece by piece across these novels, is that maybe the greatest rebellion of all isn't about trying to fix the whole world. Maybe it's about something much more personal, that profound, tough, and, heroic choice to stare absurdity right in the face and still choose to live, passionately anyway.